Welcome back to Artificial Intelligence, where we bring together the texture of art, the science of teaching, and the evolving of AI. I'm your host, Professor Menekai, and with me is my mentor, my co-host, and one of the most residential creative I know, Dr. Henrietta Wright. And we're going to explore why a single color can carry entire conversation about learning, creativity, and technology. We're going to discuss the spectrum of blues and creative practice, how AI tools can either preserve or distort depths in arts and education. Then we're going to challenge you with mentoring yourself in Hues, guiding the next generation to see every shade, not just the highlight.
Yeah, and to be honest, Alyssa, blue is not just a color for me, it's a language. In my artwork, blue has been a steady presence, a grounding element that carries weight, memory, and emotion, which are all symbolisms of the gradation of the hue in blue. So it can soothe and it can unsettle. It can feel expansive like the horizon or the ocean, or intimate like a whispered story. And I think that's why this conversation fits perfectly into the Artificial Intelligence series. Because in the same way blue holds layers of meaning, AI in education holds multiple shades: potential, caution, creativity, and risk.
And just like blue shift, depending on the light or the medium, education shift, depending on who's holding the brush, or in this case, the code. In the right hands, it can be a driving tool for connection, reflection, and student engagement. In the wrong context, it can flatten complexity, strip away, and make everything feel the same shade.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny how you say in the right hands, as a left-hander, everything is always going to be left for me, and that's always right. Okay, so think of ultramarine. So once so rare that it was reserved for the most sacred parts of a painting, like the robes of the Virgin Mary in Renaissance art. So that pigment was costly, it was valued, it was intentional, it was used casually. So in teaching, there are elements of our craft that should be treated like ultramarine, reserved for deep human connection, meaningful dialogue, and moments that a machine cannot fully replicate.
Yeah, and there's indigo, a color with complex history of trade, labor, and culture. It carries both beauty and the weight of exploitation. That's a reminder for us when we talk about AI. Who is producing it? Who has access to it? Who perceptors are encoded in the system? Just like a pigment origin changes, AI origin is data, its biases, its designs, changes its impact.
Yeah. And like for me, blue has also been a way to talk about resilience. Some of my pieces use deep blues to symbolize endurance, to reflect histories that aren't always told in words. Because, as most artists, we speak, with in our drawings and our paintings because we cannot say what we really want to say or what we feel in words or express them in words. So in the classroom, I think of that as a space between the time we spend listening to the students, letting them process that information, and then inviting them to think in color rather than just in black and white answers. AI can't replicate that lived experience that informs those pauses, but it can help us make space for them.
That's such a powerful way to put it. Thinking in color. And that's where your work as an artist and an educator really models, because sometimes it's important for future teachers to think about the ability to layer meaning. If all you do is skim the surface, you can only see one shade of blue.
Hmm.
But if you slow down, if you really work the layers, whether it's in painting or in a lesson plan, you start to see the depth, the texture, and most importantly, the story.
Yeah, think of that gradation in that hue, kind of like scaffolding. It's a building up process. So, and that's irony. Is AI is actually really good at mimicking that layering visually. You can type in oil painting in shades of cobalt and cerulean, right? And it will produce something that looks layered. But the question is, does it know why those layers are there? Does it understand the cultural references, the emotional tension, the lived experience behind the choice of blue? That's where human artistry still leads.
And that's why Who's and Blues is more than just a color story. It's reminded that education, just like in art, the choices we make matter. We decide that when we let AI mix the paint and when to hold the brush ourselves. Because being an artificial educator means keeping the human in the loop, keeping the depth in color.
Yes, blue is a mood, it's a movement, it's a message. In art, blue can be calming or electric, melancholy or empowering. It's the ocean's depth, the sky's promise, the denim we wear every day. And in my work as an artist, blue has often been a connective thread, a way to hold memory, identity, and possibility all in one space.
Yes, one space. That's exactly why this episode feels so important for our listeners. Because when we talk about hues and blues, we're talking about shades of meaning in education, whether it's a tool for reflection, collaboration, or maybe just a shortcut. So we're going to talk more about Dr. Wright, or as we like to call her artist name, Satirane Portfolio, using blue focused artwork as an anchor and tie back to how AI is a reflection. So let's talk about blues in the digital sense. The screens, the icons, the user interface we live in now. When I think of AI, I think of those default blues you see on the website and apps. It's almost like a global digital blue.
Yes, and that's not by accident. Blue in the digital space has been used because it's calming and trustworthy. Think of social media platforms, corporate branding, and even educational tech tools. But here's the danger: that sameness can flatten diversity. When everything is branded in the same blue, it can erase cultural specificity.
And that's why your art feels like a counterpoint. Your blues aren't default, they're intentional, layer.
And that's a message for educators using AI. Don't accept the default setting, and we got that in quotes, default setting in your teaching tools. Customize, adapt, bring in your own palette, your cultural and pedagogical colors, so the digital space reflects your community.
All right, so let's talk to the audience. We're going to leave you with a challenge. Look for the blues in your own work, whether you're an educator, an artist, or both. Ask yourself what they mean, where they come from, and how they can guide you in using AI not just as a shortcut, but as a creative partner.
And remember, whether it's a brushstroke or a line of code, it's your hand, your intention. That makes it artificial.
Stay tuned, and you're listening to Artificial Intelligence.
And that's official.